Good morning. Coming back to you from the alongside the Masters Training, Leadership, and Coaching Studio, live from here in Ingleside, Texas. Sorry, I've got a little bit of a frog in my throat today on this video. If you've been following the series, or depending upon the order that you've watched it in, you knew that we had some studio challenges with some equipment malfunctions. Excuse me. Today's lesson: leadership and coaching. So, how exactly should you pick a coach? First, I'm going to give you my full list of questions that you probably should be looking at. The first one is to ask where you're at. Where are you at in the journey of life? And probably even better than that is, where do you want to go? So if you know where you're at and you know where you want to go, what might be the next logical question in the series? How to get there. And if you don't know how to get there, you need a guide, a Sherpa, a mentor, a coach, somebody who has been there and been there often and been there frequently. And who will get you there depending upon your cost. I mean, you can get from here to England by swimming. You can take a ship. You can take an old sailboat. You could go by way of South America and the Panama, but from the Gulf Coast, that's not the smartest way. It's a little bit more scenic, but it all depends upon a time frame. If I want to get there tomorrow, or even say within 5 hours from now, I'm going to jump on a plane. And depending upon whether or not the availability of a supersonic jet is available, like the Concorde, from, say, Houston to Heathrow, it might be like an hour and 15 minutes. I don't know. It's been years since the Concorde's been online, and the last one I knew of went to the Smithsonian. So, where are you? Where do you want to go? Who has been there before? What skills do you need along the way? So if you were going out for a hike, now understand this is going to be a little bit longer of a video than our typical 5-minute one. It may even end up getting classified as such. We may not go over all the questions. What skills do you need? So if you were out hiking and you knew that you had to, say, climb Mount Kilimanjaro, Mount Everest, Mount St. Helens in Washington State, you would likely want to start not only walking in longer distances, you may be wanting to walk or hike with a load on you, and going, starting early in the day, going till just shortly before sunset, so that you could actually set up a camp. And these are the skills. These go towards the skills of being able to get there. You're going to want to go to a higher elevation so that you can acclimate to the elevation, oxygen levels. In Mount Everest, the Sherpas use a opioid derivative to increase their oxygen flow and to be able to function. And as the years have gone along, the amount of gear that is necessary is probably not as great. You're going to need to learn how to put on the certain layers. Now that's the important layers of clothing, and what to do with that stuff afterwards and coming back down the mountain. Another question: how can finding your coach? How can the coach help? Making sure that they're the right ones. You're going to want to ask in-depth coaching questions towards that individual mentor, guide, making sure that they're a fit for you. If you notice up here, I've got this book right here, The Richest Man in Babylon, and inside here, the main character is out to make a diversification or have another stream of income available to him in the world of precious gems. And he ends up going to the wrong individual who has no idea. So basically, in today's terms, you wouldn't ask your car mechanic how to buy a rug. You wouldn't ask your foot doctor how to treat your elbow. You wouldn't ask your landscape individual how to best take care of, say, a horse, unless they were an expert in it. And that's what I'm keenly getting to. We've got another book here in the library alongside the Masters, and these are actually all my books. These are not the only books that I have available. I've got some up above, some down below, and some hidden in some spots. I've even got some extra copies over along the way for sale. So should you have a particular title that you are looking for, feel free to reach out to me, and we will see what we can do to accommodate you. For those who don't know, I am actually certified with John C. Maxwell as a trainer, speaker, and coach. The areas that I like to speak towards are faith, family, and fellowship. The training, leadership, and coaching that I deal with is geared towards small individuals, small businesses to mid-size, up to 25 employees, the individuals themselves, and the teams in dynamic settings. So I can lead masterminds, do personal evaluations, do small groups, or even some larger groups towards that. John Maxwell had a book that was published out. It says, "Good leaders ask great questions." So if you get your hand on this, it's a great way to do some self-studying with your coach, an individual coach. And I highly recommend that you get not only just one, but you actually get multiple ones. I have multiple coaches. Why? So that I am better for you. And those who are not coachable don't make good coaches. I am a perpetual student. For some, to be a master. One of the other questions that I came up with while jotting down my notes preparing for this video is, what do you know about going the wrong way? So if you're going along at a goal, how will you know if you hit a stumbling block, and whether or not it's one that's going to have to circle you back into another cycle, having to go back to step one. Making a cake. Let's just say making a cake. I want to make a nice cake and stuff. I miss an entire ingredient, and I'm checking on the cake midway in the oven, and it's not turning brown, or it's not raising inside the pan, and there's obviously something wrong. Only to come to find out, if I look at the recipe, that I forgot the leavener in it. I'm going to have to go back to step one. Step one, okay? Clean up my dishes, my mixing bowl, a spatula, a beater, getting the ingredients themselves. And I might even have to go back to the store. So this is important while you have a plan laid out. And you'll follow along in several of my social media pages or venues that I'll use hashtag OODA, OODA. It's a military term. Observe. I wished I had it for you. Look it up. OODA, OODA, or plan, do, review, assess. Is another way of looking at it. And that, so you've got your recipe. We'll take the cake in perspective. And typically, if you're online, you'll have a nice little picture there with the cake, what it looks like, all frosted up. Hopefully, you get one that isn't frosted up, because then you can actually see the color that you're looking for, temperature. Keep in mind, the elevation will make a difference when cooking a cake. Higher elevations require a higher temperature. Okay, humidity. If you're doing painting, humidity and as well as baking will make a difference. Making sure that you have good flour. Good flour is a difference too in how your recipes will turn out. Fresh flour. I'm not saying you have to grind your own, but making sure that it hasn't been sitting on the shelf back in the back part of the cupboard, heat it all up, is a big difference. Sugar, there's a, depends on what kind of sugar that you need. Along with that recipe, you can't necessarily use refined sugar or confectioner sugar in substitution with brown sugar or honey or raw sugar and stuff. You have to make those adjustments along the way for that recipe. And there are even programs out there, individual websites, gurus who know their culinary skill, confectionery artist, that you can tap into, reach out towards, to finding out what you can use for a substitution. Like even applesauce. Did you know that applesauce you can use as a substitution for shortening or a fat substitute in recipes? But you have to make sure that you have the right recipe in it. It's allowed within that. It's also going to increase your moistness in there. That's pretty much, I've got 14 of them here. I've got an entire worksheet. If you're a leader, I've got an entire worksheet, 30 questions on assessing your skills, your team's skills, and the dynamics. We're coming up at the 13-minute mark, this video being a little longer. We hope that you enjoyed it, stuck with us from the end, and you get some value out of it. Hit the like, subscribe button. Share this, please, with your friends and even your enemies, especially if you're at work. If you share it with your coworker that you don't get along with, then we can help them out. Maybe you won't have to deal with them. So move along. Thanks and God bless. You have a great day in the Lord. This is Roman signing off from the studios of Alongside the Masters Training, Leadership, and Coaching here in Ingleside, Texas. Thank you.